Violence means the use of physical force or weapons to injure or abuse another person. Typically, the term victim is used to describe the person who is the target of the violence. Abuser is the term applied to the person who commits the violent act. Violence is usually an intentional act and does not occur by accident. There is no simple explanation for why people resort to using violence. However, there are a few common reasons why people commit violent acts. Sometimes people use violence as a way to express anger. Their emotions are out of control and they see no other way to communicate. In other cases, violence is used as a means of manipulation. In this way, people use violence as a way to control other people and get what they want. Finally, violence is sometimes used as a method of retaliation, in which one person attempts to get even by hurting another who has hurt them. Violence is a learned behavior. If an individual is raised in a home or community where violence is common, they might grow up thinking it is the only way to express themselves or to solve problems. If violence is learned, however, it means that it can also be unlearned. Violence is never a productive way of expressing emotion or solving problems. Learning new skills for anger management and practicing strategies for peaceful conflict resolution is a valuable way to avoid violence. Violence seems to pop up everywhere in our society. Tuning into the news on television, we hear stories of violence all over the world. Films and video games are full of violent scenes, and sadly, some only have to look within their own home to see examples of violent behavior. Teenagers can find themselves the victims and sometimes even the perpetrators of violence. Bullying, fistfights, gang activity, and even mass shootings are all examples of violence that occur within modern schools. It is scary and baffling that such things can happen. So what factors play into teenagers committing violent acts? Research has shown that certain historical and environmental factors are associated with teen violence. Lack of social connections can play a role in producing violent behavior. In the absence of meaningful relationships with family members, peer groups, or sympathetic adults, teenagers can feel isolated and use violence as a way of lashing out. Childhood abuse or neglect and other forms of violence in the home can keep young people from learning constructive ways of handling conflict. The lack of anger management skills and ignorance of conflict resolution strategies makes people who have suffered in this way more prone to violence. Shockingly, the parents of some teenagers may even condone violence. Victims of bullying are more likely to engage in violent acts as a form of retribution against their tormentors and those who failed to intervene on their behalf. Certain mental health problems can also be a predictor of violent behavior. Teenagers who are not enrolled in school are more likely than their educated peers to commit violence. Additionally, the possession of weapons makes violence more probable, and weapons increase the likelihood that violence will result in death, disability, or serious injury to the victim. If you get the feeling that violence is imminent, what should you do? Above all, keep yourself safe. Do not spend time alone with a person that seems to lose their temper frequently, who engages in physical fights, or who talks about hurting others. Take threats of violence seriously and tell a trusted adult, for example, a parent, teacher, guidance counselor, administrator, or school resource officer. If someone you know is losing control of their anger, try to remove the person from the situation that is triggering them, but only if you can do so safely. If you see violence occurring, get the authorities involved. Do not take matters into your own hands. If you are feeling angry and worry that you might be prone to acting violently, it's important to seek help. First, take a time out to let yourself calm down before responding to the situation that made you angry. Take slow, deep breaths. Learn to talk about your feelings in a calm manner. If you think you might become violent, talk to a trusted adult. Think through the benefits of controlling your anger and the consequences of losing control. The word violence might bring to mind scenes of physical abuse, blood, and bruises. But violence comes in many forms. Words can be violent, and abuse can manifest in mental, emotional, and sexual ways. Sexual harassment is any unwanted sexual behavior that offends or humiliates the victim. Sexual harassment does not have to involve physical contact, though unwanted touching does constitute harassment. It may come in the form of sexual comments, gestures, text messages, or social media posts that make the victim feel uncomfortable. The abuser may ask for sexual favors in exchange for a reward, for example, improved status, a promotion, or a raise at work. The abuser may threaten the victim with public humiliation, physical violence, or tell them that they could get them in trouble at school or fired from a job. Sexual harassment creates a hostile environment for the victim and can result in decreased performance at school or work. Despite common beliefs, boys and men can be victims of sexual abuse, just as girls and women are. Violence can present itself within romantic relationships. This type of violence goes by many names: domestic violence, intimate partner violence, or dating violence. Abusive relationships occur when one person tries to dominate and control the other person, physically, sexually, emotionally, or financially. Intimate partner violence may include such things as physical violence, sexual violence, stalking, and psychological aggression. Intimate partner violence can happen to anyone, regardless of their gender identity or sexual orientation. Abusive relationships typically display certain characteristics. A relationship does not have to include all the warning signs to qualify as abusive. Even one or two indicators can be a sign of trouble. Following are some warning signs of an abusive relationship to watch out for. If your partner has a history of bad relationships, it could be a warning sign of abuse. Typically, an abusive partner will not take any ownership for the failure of the past relationships. They will blame their exes for any problems that occurred. They could be the common denominator in the bad relationships, however, and it may be a warning sign for new partners. If your partner constantly checks on you, it could be a sign of an unhealthy relationship. There is a difference between having a healthy level of concern for the person you love and obsessing over their activities. In an abusive relationship, there is a lack of trust and a desire for control. The abuser might monitor your phone calls, texts, emails, or social media accounts. In an abusive relationship, checking in on the partner goes beyond healthy concern. Stalking is a form of intimate partner violence. Unhealthy relationships can be jealous and possessive. An abusive partner might not like it when you talk to or spend time with other people, even your friends and family members. Abusive partners may expect you to spend all your time with them, and may accuse you of cheating on them, even when you have not. An abusive partner might order you around. Abusive partners desire control, and they may manipulate or coerce you into doing what they want. They may try to control what you wear, what you eat, how you spend money, or with whom you spend your time. If your partner threatens you in any way, it is a sign of abuse. Threats could come in the form of physical violence, abandonment, betrayal, humiliation, or financial strife. The threats may even extend to your pets or other people you care about. An abuser may even threaten to harm themselves and blame you. Threats are used as a method of control. In a healthy relationship, one partner does not try to control the other. Abusive partners typically will not let you have friends. Isolation is important for maintaining control over a victim. An abusive partner will usually try to cut you off from your support network, including friends and family. They may even intentionally humiliate you in front of other people. If your partner pressures you to have sex or use drugs or alcohol, it is a sign of an abusive relationship. Really, if your partner pressures you to do anything you don't want to do, it is a sign that they do not respect your wishes and that they have a desire to control your behavior. Respect is essential for a healthy relationship, and any activity you engage in should be because you want to do it, not because anyone else is coercing you. Violence is never acceptable in any relationship and is a major red flag for abuse. The perpetrator might justify their violence with excuses, or may even blame you for making them lose their temper. Even if the abuser apologizes and swears they will never do it again, violence should be a deal breaker in any relationship. A hallmark of abusive relationships is when a partner mistreats you and then blames you for their bad behavior. Remember that everyone is responsible for their own feelings and actions. No one can make another person feel or do anything. There is no justification for mistreatment within a relationship. Therefore, the only correct response is an apology from the perpetrator. If you are being mistreated and then blamed for it, you are being abused. Typically, an abusive partner will not accept attempts to end the relationship. They may carry on as if the breakup never happened, or engage in behaviors that convince you to remain in the relationship. For example, apologizing for past behavior, bargaining for another chance, or threatening you with consequences for leaving them. Sometimes an abuser will even threaten to hurt themselves if you leave them. If you are caught up in an abusive relationship, you will need to solicit help to end it. Remember that a relationship does not have to include all of these indicators to qualify as abusive. Even 1 or 2 warning signs can indicate an unhealthy relationship. If you think you or someone you know is in an abusive relationship, you need to get help and end the relationship. Here are some good suggestions for seeking help with an abusive relationship. If you are in immediate danger, call 911. If you feel that your safety is being threatened, it is important to involve law enforcement to help you. If you are not in immediate danger, consider these other options for seeking help. Call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE. The hotline offers help 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in a variety of languages. Hotline operators can help you with other resources, for example, the phone numbers of local domestic violence shelters. Find a way to access the internet and search online for teen dating violence help or intimate partner violence help. If you do not have access to the internet at home, you can use the internet for free at your local library or in the media center at your school. Talk to a parent, teacher, school counselor, or another trusted adult who can provide emotional support and help you find resources to leave the abusive relationship. Find a YWCA near you. The Young Women's Christian Association is an organization whose goal it is to empower women and eliminate racism. This organization can provide help for domestic violence. Visit your local health department. Some health departments now have programs to stop intimate partner violence. Search the yellow pages of a phone book for domestic violence or social service organization. You may find additional local resources that can help you. No one deserves to be abused or mistreated. If you are experiencing abuse, harassment, or are the victim of bullying, you do not have to stand by and take it. Pay attention to your feelings and instincts. If something doesn't feel right, trust yourself. Seek the help and support you need from a trusted adult. In order to avoid being harassed or coerced by others, use strong body language. Stand up straight and make good eye contact. Use a strong voice to assert what you want and do not want. Be clear on what your personal boundaries are and do not compromise what is important to you. You are deserving of love and respect, as are all human beings. You do not have to accept abusive treatment in your life.